Hey CrossLife Kids, this week we're going to be talking about Jacob's wrestling match.
Hey CrossLife Kids, we're going to take a look at our story for the week. After Jacob and Laban made their agreement, Jacob continued his trip back home. It had been more than 14 years since he had seen his mother and father. Jacob traveled under the blessing of God, for along the way the Lord sent angels to meet him. Jacob knew that the Lord was with him, but he still had his brother Esau to deal with. The last time he had seen Esau, his brother had been furious with him for stealing his blessing. As Jacob drew closer to his homeland, he sent messengers ahead to greet Esau because he was afraid his brother still might want to kill him. When the messengers returned, they told Jacob and Esau was coming to meet him with 400 men. Jacob panicked and divided the group into two. That way, if Esau attacked one group, the other one would survive. Jacob asked the Lord to save them as he had promised. Jacob thought of a plan. He had sent gifts ahead. To the land, Jacob gathered large flocks of goats, rams, camels, and donkeys to present to his brother. The animals were sent ahead, one group at one time, so Esau would receive present after present after present. Jacob hoped that if Esau was angry, the gifts would calm him down. Then Jacob took his family, moved them across the stream, and spent the night alone. That night, God visited Jacob as a mysterious man who came and wrestled with him. The wrestling match continued for a long time. At dawn, when the man saw he was not winning, he touched Jacob's hip and put it out of joint. He asked Jacob to let him go, but Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Then the man said, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men and have prevailed." Then he blessed Jacob. Jacob named that place Peniel, which means face of God, because he knew that he had seen God face to face and survived. The story tells us how the nation of Israel got its start. The name God gave Jacob would be used for all of Jacob's children and eventually for the whole nation of God's people. Jesus was called the King of Israel as he rode triumphantly into Jerusalem, and as he was mocked as the King of Israel who was dying on the cross. God named Jacob Israel, knowing that one day Jesus would die bearing the name King of Israel.
Now that we've finished the story, we're going to go over 3 main discussion points. So the first thing that we learn is Jacob is reminded of God's faithfulness. Throughout Jacob's whole life, he's been betrayed by a bunch of people. First of all, his parents had favorites, and then his brother tried to kill him. And then he started working with this man, and then he wanted to marry the man's daughter, but then the man tricked him into marrying another daughter, and then he was stuck with 2 wives. So it makes sense why Jacob had a lot of trust issues, but he was reminded that God is not humans and he's not going to betray him.
Jacob learns to fear God because when God hit his hip, he totally pain.
Yeah, it was a lot of pain.
He was like, I need to fear God more than anyone or anything.
And more than Esau.
Jacob was known as fearing men more than he fears God. And the angels came to him and said, "Do not fear Esau, but Jacob fears Esau more than he trusts God."
Okay, so that is the end of the lesson today. I hope you guys learned a lot. Yeah, so that's about it. You want to say bye, everyone?